just very quickly, well done, Rafa. I went to the hospital as I said I would this afternoon to watch the men's final with my sister. We made it to 2 sets and then they rang the bell and it was time to go. So she said I can fill her in later tomorrow when I come and see her. But anyways, it was a really good match. Glad I went. But that's not what I want to talk about. Anyway, it's this COVID nonsense. So I'm at the bus stop and the bus pulls up and the driver is wearing what looks like a winter scarf, a woolly scarf, and it's literally wrapped around him several times like this, around like that. So I didn't even need for him to open the door. I knew he was going to ask me, where's my mask? Because I can tell the pattern. The more masked up they are, the more paranoid they are about this virus. So he asked me, where's my mask? And I did my usual routine. I don't wear one for health reasons. So obviously the health reasons are it's not good for you to wear a mask. But as an aside, myself, my sister in Canada, and my younger sister, who's no longer with us, who left us in 1992, we all had heart surgery. So I have a scar on my back. So when I'm feeling in particularly sarcastic, I will say, and I've said this to a couple of drivers before, I said, would you like to see my scar? And I kind of slip my hoodie or my coat, depending on what I'm wearing, because I usually have one of these vests on. And I will kind of slip it down my shoulder and I say, no, it's all right. Now, my thing is this. Some drivers don't wear a mask, and others, as I said, in the case of this one, who's wrapped right up here. I don't know how he could breathe underneath that because it was a proper woolly scarf. So he, to me, he's him wearing that, and I don't know because I don't actually know of any personal incidents, but to my mind, I think that could be dangerous because if you can't breathe properly, then it might affect your ability. Well, I don't know, you might pass out or something. I've heard about people passing out. And as a bus driver, surely that's dangerous. But all of that aside, that's not my problem. I go out and, I just trust that I'll be safe. But anyways, there was a black guy on the bus and he was quite mouthy. So it's more about him. So he was very, very mouthy. He was shooting off his mouth. Yes, sister, you don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to, blah, blah, blah. Sort of like a typical black rights type person, pro-black, anti-white type person. And all the time he's talking to me, he's wearing a mask. He's telling me I don't need to wear a mask and saying that it's white people who have fallen for this thing and how black people have more sense than them. But as I said, in the meantime, he's wearing a mask. And he then goes on to say, when I said, well, it's not healthy. I was talking so everybody on the bus could hear because I wasn't trying to keep my voice down or anything. But so people were sitting there all in their masks listening. And I'm talking to him, but I'm thinking, does this man realize how stupid he is? Because you're here protesting and saying how it's stupid that people are wearing masks while you're wearing one. If you don't believe in coronavirus or COVID-19 or whatever, why are you wearing a mask? Right. So to me, if you think you know better, then you're more stupid. Because you are the one wearing the mask. At least the ones wearing the mask who may be genuinely stupid, who don't know any better, at least they have an excuse. But if you want to claim that you're more intelligent, then I'm afraid to say you're more stupid than them because you're the one wearing the mask. So to cut a long story shorter, I cut him off at one point when he was really going into it, it's a bit like when black people start going on about us being Egyptians and all of that nonsense. Um, yeah, so I cut him off and I said, I don't do race and skin, right? Because it's not a matter, whatever I say, I'm not saying it from the perspective of me being a black person. I'm saying it from the perspective of me being me. So it's got nothing at all to do with, like I've said this before, about, you can hear the phone ringing, that's mother. Right, always right on cue, I'm not answering. Anyways, yeah, so I only ever speak on behalf of myself. So he's sort of coming from the perspective of black versus white. And I was actually going to do a video on this, so I might as well just say it now. But one of the things that people have, on two fronts, people will come to me on two fronts. The first front is religion. So when they decide they don't want to go to church anymore, they come and they try to solicit me, even though my reasons for not going to church are not the same as theirs. I have my reasons, and I've never needed to consult with anyone on any front when I make my decisions. So in the same way that they've attached themselves to the church, I'm using church as an example, when they're leaving, they need to find something else. They need a substitute to attach themselves to. So they will tend to find others who no longer go to church. And I said sometimes people have actually approached me. They don't stick around because I don't give them what they're looking for. So it's sort of leaving one group for another. And in the other, so basically with this guy, what I said to him was, I don't attach myself, I don't view myself through the group. So whereas he's talking black versus white, black people are more intelligent than white people, or whatever he was trying to say, I said I don't need to attach myself to a group to maintain my thoughts and my views. So for example, I'm not looking at anybody else who aren't wearing masks. That is my decision. If it be the case that the law comes down and says, or the government says, absolutely nobody can go on the bus unless they're wearing a mask, I will simply walk, which was the decision I had made anyway at the moment when it was announced that we would need to wear masks on public transport. That was the decision. But then I saw that people weren't wearing masks and I didn't see anybody coming after them. So I thought, let me chance my luck and see what happens. And the minute I'm told that I can't, then I will just revert to what I said I would do, which is to walk. So anyway, the guy got off where he was getting off and we bid one another goodbye and all of that. But I just wanted the passengers on the bus to, I see it as not so much my duty, but if I'm in a situation where you can give people something else to think about, give them another perspective, then I take that opportunity. So that's why I say I wasn't, when I was speaking to him, he was talking very loudly. He was sitting sort of further towards the front than me. I wasn't, if you like, I kind of did the thing where I take over the bus or take over the environment. So I start chucking my energy about. So I took the opportunity to do that, to just to give people, in the same way that I'm doing the videos, to give people something to think about. Because as well, I just briefly touching on the racism thing, it's a big shock to people who view themselves as better, in this case better than black people. It's a big slap in the face if you're sitting on the bus and you're saying, I don't view myself through my race or my skin, because that is, if people want to bring you down, that would probably be, somebody who, a racist person, for example, that would probably be the first port of call. And it's like, if you say, I don't do race and skin, where do they go from there? Right? So they're going to have to spend time trying to pick you apart. And I usually think to myself, good luck with that. Right? So, whereas, just sticking with this, the guy, He was sort of trying to unite with me because I'm another black person and I've come on the bus and I'm challenging the rules. But the difference is he's the one wearing the mask, making himself look like an idiot because he's talking about how uncomfortable it is and saying correctly that you're not supposed to breathe back in your own air, this, that, and the other, but yet he's wearing the mask and he's doing just that. I, on the other hand, have not succumbed and I've not worn a mask. Since March, I have not put on a mask, not even for the sake of it for show or just to play along. I have not done that because that is against my principles, right? So anyway, so that was that. But then, like I said, some bus drivers are wearing masks, others are not. It's either, is there a virus out there or not? And how can the bus driver want to tell somebody you can't get on the bus when another bus driver is coming along and he's not wearing a mask? And so basically if they've got their rules, then it should be enforced. So it's either no drivers wear masks or all drivers wear masks. But you can't have some drivers saying you can't get on the bus and others not having a problem. There should be uniformity throughout the whole transport system, if it be the case. But that aside, so I arrive at the hospital and I'm coming up to the entrance and there's a crotchety old woman in a wheelchair. I say crotchety, she looked really disheveled like a bag lady. And she looks like she's just waiting to keel over, for want of a better term. And what she's doing, she's sitting there puffing on a cigarette. And I couldn't help thinking, is it their plan to kill us all, one way or another? And so this woman, she's not the first one. I've seen other patients who can barely walk on walking frames and just looking really mashed up, puffing away on cigarettes. And I think, is this some ploy? Are they doing this on purpose? It's like, oh, if they want to smoke, let them smoke because that will, help them along. I don't know what it is, but if you're a perfectly healthy person, like, I mean, I'm as fit as the proverbial butcher's dog. That's how I feel anyway. I don't have any, there are no niggles, there's nothing physically or internally. I don't feel any symptoms of any kind of illness. So the idea that I should force myself into a mask, which I don't need to have gone to medical school, I don't need to have any letters behind my name, or I don't need to have a degree or anything, but because I have common sense, right? If common sense is telling me that this thing that I'm being asked to do is not good, why do I need to do it, right? And most definitely, why do I need to listen to a bus driver? Who is a bus driver that he needs to be giving me instructions onto how I need to police myself, right? So these are the little things that I've picked up along the way today, my experiences. I'm traveling back and forth. Coming back, the bus driver didn't have a mask on, and he didn't even bat an eyelid. He just opened the door and let me on. So that's the difference. So you've got people out there, some are terrified of the virus, and others don't give two hoots. They're just getting on with their life. And unfortunately, we are all, I don't know about anybody else because I can only speak for myself, but there are people out there who are wearing the mask under duress. But I just think if you feel strongly about something, then you're a fool if you're going ahead and acting against the thing that you know to be right. If a thing is right, then you're supposed to be willing to put yourself on the line and, just do the right thing. So here I am. I don't know how many months, 7 months now, 8 months, March to October. I haven't worn a mask. Yeah, there are people who've asked me, where's my mask? See, nothing's happened, and I've stuck to my principles. So it's just that, really, once more, this is disjointed and whatever. But that was just the point I wanted to make. There are people out there who are complete idiots. And like I said, the guy, he I'm black, he's black, and straight away he's thinking that me and him, yes, because I'm not so much protesting, but on principle I won't wear a mask because it's not healthy, and also I don't I personally don't believe there's any pandemic, right? And I don't care if people want to say, oh, but I know people who've had it and I know people who've died from it and whatever. That's you, right? Everybody knows somebody who's suffering from something, or who's had something, or who's died from something. Right? Are we supposed to all live our life in reverence of you, the person who wants to use your sick or dead relative to put others on a guilt trip? I don't think so. Right? So those are my thoughts on that anyway. But like I said, it's just, if you know what the right thing is, if you don't feel comfortable with something, then it is your duty to yourself, if you've got any self-respect, to do the right thing. And that's it. I'm done for the evening. Have a good night.